Against all odds, God restored Jerusalem, Judea, and Samaria back to the nation of Israel during the War of 1967. Lost to Israel for thousands of years, this region contains the lifeblood and heartbeat of the Jewish people. Yet the struggle has not been easy. Propaganda, terrorism, and international pressure have been the constant companion of the courageous men and women who have dared to call this place home. I'm Luke Hilton, and these are the stories of Jerusalem, Judea, and Samaria, Israel's biblical heartland, God's land.
Naomi, thank you so much for being with us. We're overlooking illegal Arab mansions that are built on Israeli state land. Tell me about the fight for Israel's land in Judea and Samaria.
What you're looking at here is a battleground. It doesn't look like one. It doesn't sound like one, but it is an active battleground. It's a battleground for the most basic and most sought-after resource that we have, and that is the land itself. So what we're looking at, essentially, is the Palestinian Authority, since 2009, consciously fulfilling a roadmap towards statehood. It's known as the Fayyad Plan, and essentially in 2009, the Palestinian Authority declared that the Oslo framework was no longer binding and that they would abandon all negotiation and unilaterally construct a Palestinian state in all of Judea and Samaria, ignoring Israel's presence and simply creating facts on the ground to change the map. And they've been doing so ever since.
Can you give us some numbers of what this illegal takeover looks like? What's happening?
At our last count, which was 2022, there were 83,317 illegal structures, illegal Arab-built structures in Area C, the area under Israeli jurisdiction. Almost 70% of the territory given to the Palestinian Authority for development, for creating a better life for Palestinians under their jurisdiction, is empty and available for construction. So even if there were some sort of housing crisis, they have more than enough resources in areas already under their control to resolve that crisis, and they have the funding to resolve that crisis. But since 2009, as Fayyad Plan clearly stated, they would be using all of their resources to take over Area C, to create the Palestinian state.
Can you speak a little bit about where is the money coming from to fund this illegal takeover, and how much money are we talking about?
We don't know how much. We know every year hundreds of millions. Probably in the last funding cycle, we know of at least 800 million euros. The Palestinian Authority is per capita, the biggest recipient of foreign aid in the world. And the results are terrorism, murder, real racism. And keep in mind, again, that nowhere else on the planet would it be permitted for Jews not to be allowed to enter an area simply because they're Jewish. But this is our territory. We can do with it as we choose, but we have no obligation to create a state here. So it's happening, unfortunately, unilaterally, one-sidedly. There's a war being fought, like I said, but only one side is fighting. The other side is making believe that it's not happening. That's not a good recipe.
The world would have you believe the lie that the Jewish people are stealing Palestinian land in the falsely so-called West Bank. The reality on the ground, however, is much, much different. Not only are there tens of thousands of illegal Palestinian structures being built on Israeli state land, but it's happening to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars funded by foreign entities. Jerusalem, Judea, and Samaria, it's not the occupied territories, it's not even the West Bank. Rather, it is Israel's very heartland. This is God's land. To find out more about the people and places of Jerusalem, Judea, and Samaria, go to keepgodsland.com.